welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and today we've got some ONYX STORM Readalikes for all you fantasy lovers, dragon lovers. So Jill, your first pick.
All right, and my first pick, it's a brick. So and you might be used to that because you just read ONYX STORM, and I read ONYX STORM, and it was like 21 hours, so it's not a small book. So, The Priory of the Orange Tree. This is the first in a series, The Roots of Chaos, by Samantha Shannon. A world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens. The House of Baratheon has ruled ONYX for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabran the Ninth must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction, but assassins are getting closer to her door. Eid Duran is an outsider at court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Eid helps keep a watchful eye on Sabran, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the Dark Sea, Tane has trained to be a dragon rider since she was a child, but is forced to make a choice that she could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. So this seems very similar to the ONYX STORM, which is part of the Fourth Wing series that have dragons and war and stuff. So dragon riders and unrest.
The Priory of the Orange Tree. It's got a pretty cover.
Beautiful cover. Kind of.
My first pick comes from Gabriela Romero La Cruz, and this was published back in 2023. And this is The Sun and the Void. In a lush world inspired by the history and folklore of South America, a sweeping epic fantasy of colonialism, ancient magic, and two young women's quest for belonging. Rhina is desperate. Stuck living on the edges of society, her only salvation lies in an invitation from a grandmother she's never known. But the journey is dangerous, and prayer can't always avert disaster. Attacked by creatures that stalk the region, she is on the verge of death until her grandmother, a dark sorceress, intervenes. Now dependent on the Donya's magic for her life, Rhina will do anything to earn and keep her favor, even the bidding of an ancient god who whispers to her at night. Eva Cacer is unwanted. Illegitimate and a mixed heritage, Eva is her family's shame. She tries her best to be perfect and to hide her oddities, but Eva is hiding a secret. Magic calls to her. Eva knows she should fight the temptation. Magic is the sign of the dark god, and using it is punishable by death. Yet it's hard to deny power when it has always been denied to you. Eva is walking a dangerous path, one that gets stranger every day, and in the end she'll become something she never imagined. So this is the story of those two young women and their quest for belonging, and it is the first book in the Warring Gods series. I noticed when I picked Readalikes, there were a lot of authors who are starting new fantasy series, kind of related to ONYX STORM and fantasy. So, Sun in the Void.
Fantasy. Romantasy. That's the thing now. It's the thing now. When the Moon Hatched. This is the first in a series called Moonfall by Sarah Parker. This was published in 2024, so it's pretty new. And it's got some pretty sprayed pages if you are into that. The creators did not expect their beloved dragons to sail skyward upon their end, to curl into balls just beyond gravity's grip, littering the sky with tombstones, with moons. They certainly did not expect them to fall. As a valued elding blade of the rebellion group of Fur Death, Rave's job is to kill, to complete orders and never get caught. When a renowned bounty hunter is employed by the crown to capture a member of the Ath, Rave's world is turned upside down. Blood spills, hearts break, and Rave finds herself at the mercy of the Guild of Nobles, a group of dual-beaded elementals who intend to turn her into a political statement. Only death will set her free. Crushed beneath the morning weight, Cain Verger took the head of a king and donned his melted crown. Now on a tireless quest to assuage the never-ebbing ache in his chest, his hunt for a moon shard lures him into the belly of Gore's notorious prison, where he stumbles upon something that rips apart his perception of reality, a shackled miracle with eyes full of rage and blood on her hands. The echo of the past sings louder than the creators themselves, and even Rave can't ignore the truths blaring from her warmer, happier time. However, there's more to this song than meets the eye, and some truths. They're too poisonous to swallow, so When the Moon Hatched.
My next pick also sprayed pages, and this is beautiful.
Really pretty.
This is Five Broken Blades by Mai Corland, and this was published last year in 2024. It's the season for treason. The king of Yusan must die. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the god King Jun. He has it coming. Under his merciless immortal hand, the nobles flourish, while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder. They can agree on treachery. But for these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other. But only one can take the crown. And as the back of the book says, let the best liar win.
That one was good. So you might have even heard of this one. From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. I've been seeing her books circulate quite a bit lately. This was published in 2020 and is the first in the Blood and Ash series. And this actually won on Goodreads Choice Awards. It was the winner for the reader's favorite romance in 2020. So there you go. A maiden chosen from birth to usher in a new era. Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of a maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure. Waiting for the day of her ascension, she would rather be with the guards, fighting back the evil that took her family, than preparing to be found worthy by the gods. But the choice has never been hers. A duty. The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulder. Something she's not even quite sure she wants for herself, because Maiden has a heart and a soul and a longing. And when Hawk, a golden-eyed guard, honor bound to ensure her ascension, enters her life, destiny and duty become tangled with desire and need. He incites her anger, makes her question everything she believes, and tempts her with the forbidden. A kingdom forsaken by gods and feared by mortals, a fallen kingdom is rising once more, determined to take back what they believe is theirs through violence and vengeance. And as the shadow of those cursed draws closer, the line between what is forbidden and what is right becomes blurred. Poppy is not only on the verge of losing her heart and being found unworthy by the gods, but also her life, when every blood-soaked thread that holds her word together begins to unravel. So if you like the part of the Fourth Wing series with ONYX STORM with the romance, this has got a lot of it for you. From Blood and Ash.
My third pick doesn't look like it would fit in this category. This is The Cottage Around the Corner by D.L. Soria. This was published in September of last year. And this is a contemporary fantasy rom-com. And this author is the author of Thief, Liar, Lady. Chanterelle Cottage is Charlie Sparrow's whole world, the cozy spell shop where she and her moms practice witchcraft. Selling goods and services to the people of small-town Owl's Hollow has been in her family for generations. Okay, business has been a little slow, and a recent burglary hit their inventory pretty hard. And the bank may not agree to restructure their loan. But Charlie is talented and savvy, and she'll keep things afloat once her parents finally let her buy into the business as a co-owner. Still, when a competing magecraft firm opens in town, things start to look a little bleak for Charlie. After all, everyone knows there's room for only one magic shop in town. So what if Fitz, the mage who owns the new Maven Enterprises, happens to be ridiculously handsome in his ridiculously expensive suits? Who cares that when Charlie can forget for a moment or two that Fitz is her competitor, things between them are as easy as breathing? None of that matters, because Charlie is not going to get involved with the competition. In this battle, it's all business. She'll do whatever it takes to make sure Chanterelle Cottage is the last spell shop standing. But when strange supernatural events begin to plague the citizens of Owl's Hollow, Charlie and Fitz must put their rivalry aside and their magic together to save their town. As they grow closer, it becomes harder for Charlie to keep her carefully drawn line in place. Maybe Owl's Hollow is big enough for a witch and a mage after all. So, a romance. The Cottage Around the Corner.
I kind of like that one. Owl's Hollow and a spell shop. I don't see too many spell shops
I know.
now. My next one is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is, Carissa Broadbent seems to have a lot of these kind of books. This is The Crowns of Nyaxia, the first in the series. Human or vampire, the rules of survivor are the same. Never trust, never yield, and always, always guard your heart. The adopted human daughter of a night-born vampire king, Aurelia, carved her place in the world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kajari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. But winning won't be easy amongst the most vicious warriors from all three vampire houses. To survive, Aurelia is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Rain is dangerous. He is a ruthless vampire, an efficient killer, an enemy of her father's crown, and the greatest competition. Yet what terrifies Aurelia most is that all she finds herself oddly drawn to him. And there's no room for compassion in the Kajari. War for the House of Night brews, and shattering everything that Aurelia thought she knew about her home. And Rain may understand her more than anyone, but their blossoming attraction could be her downfall, in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love. Servant of Kings of Night, yeah.
Next pick has a pretty cover also. This is Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow. This was published in 2023. Pawned by her mother to the king of hell as a child, Lady Jing is half vampire, half Hula Jing fox spirit, and all sasshole. As the king's ward, she has spent the past 90 years running errands, dodging taunts, and trying to control her explosive temper, all with varying levels of success. So when Jing overhears the courtiers plotting to steal a priceless dragon pearl from the king, she seizes her chance to expose them all, once and for all. With the help of a gentle mortal tasked with setting up the central bank of hell, Jing embarks on a wild chase for intel, first through hell and then mortal Shanghai. But when her hijinks put the mortal in danger, she must decide which is most important, avenging her loss of face or letting go of her half-empty approach to life for a chance to experience tenderness and maybe even love. This is a richly told adult fantasy debut and teams with Chinese deities and demons cavorting in Jazz-age Shanghai.
Oh.
And it's also going to be the first book in the Shanghai Immortal series. So, Shanghai Immortal.
That one's fun.
Yeah. Like I said, as you know, this is not my jam, these
No.
books, but it was fun to pick some.
Get some ones I'm adding to my list here. This is Emily Wilde, number 1, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This was published in 2023. Cambridge professor Emily Wilde is good at many things. She is the foremost expert on the study of fairies. She is a genius scholar and a meticulous researcher who is writing the world's first encyclopedia of fairy lore. But Emily Wilde is not good at people. She could never make small talk at a party or even get invited to one, and she prefers the company of her books, her dog, and the fair folk. So when she arrives at the hardscrabble village of Harafsnick, Emily has no intention of befriending the gruff townsfolk, nor does she care to spend time with another new arrival, her dashing and insufferably handsome academic rival Wendell Bambley, who manages to charm the townsfolk, get in the middle of Emily's research, and utterly confound and frustrate her. But as Emily gets closer and closer to uncovering the secrets of the hidden ones, the most elusive of all fairies, lurking in the shadowy forest outside the town, she also finds herself on the trail of another mystery. Who is Wendell Bambleby, and what does he really want? To find the answer, she'll have to unlock the greatest mystery of all, her own heart.
Aw.
Encyclopedia of Fairies.
My last pick is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This was published back in 2022. This book was a nominee for Reader's Favorite Fantasy Book that year. Jack Tamerlane hasn't set foot on Cadence in 10 long years, content to study music at the mainland university. But when young girls start disappearing from the Isle, Jack is summoned home to help find them. Enchantments run deep on Cadence. Gossip is carried by the wind. Plaid shawls can be as strong as armor, and the smallest cut of a knife can instill fathomless fear. The capricious spirits that rule the isle by fire, water, earth, and wind find mirth in the lives of the humans who call the land home. Adira, heiress of the East and Jack's childhood enemy, knows the spirits' only answer to a bard's music, and she hopes Jack can draw them forth by song, enticing them to return the missing girls. As Jack and Adira reluctantly work together, they find they can make better allies than rivals as their partnership turns into something more. So again, we have that something more in the romance category. But with each passing song, it becomes apparent the trouble with the spirits is far more sinister than they first expected, and an older, darker secret about Cadence lurks beneath the surface, threatening to undo them all. So, A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross.
Well, if you did just read ONYX STORM and you have a little bit of a book hangover and you don't know what to read next, I hope we gave you some ideas of different series that you can try that in the romantasy.
Yeah, there's a lot of authors who are writing new books in that series and coming out with series to match. So you can find our videos on Facebook, our YouTube channel, and the Kimberly Public Library website. And until next time, Jill and I thank you for watching. Bye!